Hi everyone, welcome back. So, have you ever had something happen in your life and you know that it has to be God? There is no other explanation, there's no other way that it could possibly have happened. There's no other way. It has to be God. It's God. Well, many years ago, I used to work at a hair salon / day spa. And this man came in, and I would describe him as a big biker looking guy. He came in with long coal black hair and a beard that was just as long. Well, he wanted his coal black hair dyed white. You see, he wanted to play Santa for the holidays, and he thought that if he could dye his hair and his beard white, that he would be perfect to play the part. So we scanned the room to see who was available and who was skilled enough, because they'd have to be really good to be able to dye his coal black hair to white without it all falling out and him leaving with no hair left on his head due to the harsh chemicals. Well, one of the stylists that was very good happened to be available, so he was going to do his hair. And the hours went by, and his hair was processed and toned, and his beard as well. Well, he left that day as Santa. He became very well known all around town. He volunteered all over, and he was even on billboards all around town that were sponsored by Z88. You probably have seen them. He played Santa for golf tournaments and dressed up in Payne Stewart plaid knickers. Anheuser-Busch even offered him a very lucrative deal to be their Santa for just a few weeks and to be paid very well. Well, he turned that down because he didn't think that Santa would be linked to alcohol. He also drove a big red Suburban with the tag sleigh. He truly had become Santa. And over the course of time, you see, he was in there every other week to get touched up because Santa doesn't have roots. So we talked about our families, and we shared, and I shared about my children, my sweet babies. And he was going to be volunteering at a Christmas tree lot and asked if I would bring them down so he could meet them. So I surprised my boys one evening, and we took a trip to the Christmas tree lot. See, they were right at that age where they were starting to question whether or not Santa was in fact real. So they were very excited to see Santa there. And my youngest ran up to him and gave him the biggest hug. Santa, 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 Santa. He was attached to him like he was his shadow. He'd stop, and my baby would run right into the back of him, or he'd turn around and he would be right there at his feet. Well, my older son, who is 21 months older than my baby, he would stand there next to me while Santa was helping the customers with their Christmas trees. And when he finished, he would walk over and talk to Santa then. Well, Santa asked both the boys what they wanted for Christmas, He said, now this is between you and me. Don't be telling your mom. Oh, and all I kept thinking was, please don't tell them you're going to get them something expensive, because money was tight at that time and I wasn't sure I would be able to get what they had asked for, and I didn't want them to be disappointed. Well, Santa never shared with me what they asked for. Instead, he went out and he bought, wrapped, and delivered those presents. Well, I hid them under the Christmas tree in the back, and on Christmas morning, the boys opened all their presents. My youngest said, no, there's one more. I know there is. And I said, no, that was all of them, having forgotten that Santa had delivered a present for them. He ran in and found those presents hidden under the back of the Christmas tree. He said, I knew it, I knew it. They were so excited. They opened their presents, and it was exactly what they had asked Santa for. And Santa spent his own money to buy those presents for my boys, my babies. That was such a wonderful, wonderful thing, and such a wonderful memory for me. And the other day I was visiting with my daughter, and I shared that story. And she said that she just thought that he sounded like such a nice man, and she would like to meet him sometime. So I looked to see if his shop was still listed on the map, and it was. So I told her, I said, well, we could run by his shop. We have a 50-50 chance of him being there because of what time it was, but we could always run by to see. She said, sure, let's go see if he's there. So we took a little trip over to his shop. Well, when we arrived, there were a few vehicles parked out front, but sleigh wasn't there though. Could have been in the back. So we wandered over to the doors and started to try and find one that wasn't locked. Well, the first door opened a minute later, and there was a woman standing there, and she asked if she could help us. And I told her we were looking for Santa. She gave us a confused look and said, excuse me? I said, we're looking for Santa. He used to have this whole building, and she said she didn't know who we were talking about. She had been there for 2 years and had no idea. So we went to the next door, and we got the same, pretty much the same response. The man said he didn't know Santa, and he had been there for 3 years. But he had directed us across the street. He said the man that owned the building they were in and the building across the street was the same person, and his office was in Suite 101, and he might be able to help us. So we walked across the street, and the door was locked, so we went to the next door, and it as well. So we proceeded on, and we got to the end, and this man walked up in a suit coat and said, can I help you? And I said, yes, do you happen to know Santa? And he said, why, yes, I do know Santa. I asked him if he was the owner, and he said no, he didn't work there, he didn't belong there. He had just come by chance to pick something up that had been mailed to that address by mistake. So now I think, well, he can't really know my Santa. He said, no, I know him. We used to sing in the choir together. Well, the next thing I know, I'm talking to my Santa on his phone. How is this even possible that that man was right there at that exact moment and knew my Santa? That is the only explanation. That is the only way that any of that happened. It was God. Well, I talked to Santa, and he said that he was going to be playing Santa at the church, and they were setting it all up so the families could come in and bring their children to see Santa, tell him what they wanted for Christmas, and they could take holiday photos. So he said, if you want, you can come by. I'd love to see you. So I went by and I met Mrs. Santa, and I ran into my boy's daddy's old boss. Well, this is just so amazing to me. And you know that it is only God. And God certainly is good. That brings us to our scripture of the day, and it is Proverbs chapter 16, verse 9, and it says, "In their hearts humans plan their course, but the Lord establishes their steps." Well, I can only see this little piece of this puzzle, and I'm not sure why all of this has transpired, but I am so looking forward to the other pieces of this puzzle falling into place so I can see the whole picture. This didn't happen just by chance, so there's a reason for it, and I'm looking forward to finding out what that is. Well, I hope you have a very blessed day, and if this was an encouragement, please be sure and give it a thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe, and remember, today's a new day. I'll see you next time.